It happened one night that Annie could not sleep and tossing restlessly upon her bed, prayed earnestly to God to give her a sign to make light of her doubt and fear. But she could not endure the anxiety any longer in the darkness, and starting from bed, struck a light. She then hurriedly took up the Bible and opened it to find a sign. Putting her finger on the text, the place read, "Under the palm tree." She tried to find some meaning in it, but could not think of anything, and closing the book, thus slept. In her dream, however, she saw Enoch sitting under a palm tree, the sun shining over his head. "He is dead," she thought in her dream. "He is happy. He is singing Hosanna on the highest." At that moment she awoke and resolved at once, said for Philip, "I will wed you, Philip. There is no reason why we should not wed." So these two were wedded, and the church bells rang merrily in the small town in celebration of their long-delayed marriage. But Annie's heart never beat merrily. She did not like to be left alone. When she came home, she hesitated at the door for a while, fearing to enter, though fearing what she could not tell. By and by, a baby was born, and as if renewed with it, the new mother came about her heart. Annie became a gentle wife to Philip, who also became her ordinary. Soon Annie's mysterious instinct and misgiving wholly died away. And where was Enoch? His ship, the Good Fortune, reached her destination in the Orient. At the Oriental harbor, Enoch traded for himself and bought a dragon to give to his children as souvenir. But the homebound voyage was less lucky. At first, the ship sailed on straight and smooth, scarcely rocking. But finally she was caught in a violent storm and driven on the dark ocean this way, and crashed against a rock and was lost with all the crew, except Enoch and two others. They drifted half the night, clinged floating tackle, and broke spars and stranded on a lonely island on a lonely sea toward the next morning. On this island there was enough food to support them. They managed to build a shelter in a mountain gorge. In the meanwhile, the youngest of the three, who had been hurt on the night of shipwreck, became weak and lay in the hut. He had been in bed for 5 years, and the two others could not leave him as long as he was alive. When he was dead, they began to attempt of escaping from the island. One day, Enoch's companion was struck by the tropical sun and died not long after. Years passed by, and Enoch's hair began to show silver, but he had not yet wholly given up his hope to see his family. And one day, his lonely doom came suddenly to an end. A ship came near to the island. The crew landed and burst away in all directions in search of a stream or fountain. Enoch was confused by the sight and sound, by the hand of help. He stepped out of his mountain gorge and came downward staggering. A long hair, long beard ghost of a man While he was among the crew, hearing them talk, his tongue, so long bound and unused, began to be loosened, and he managed to make them understand. They were amazed at his story and showed deep sympathy for him, giving him clothes and free passage home. When at last Enoch stood on the street of the town, where the had often worked coming from his own, he spoke no word to anyone, only he hurried and hurried homeward. But had he really at home? The trees grew thicker and the gloom deeper. He came upon his native town. Faltering and hesitating, he finally stood before the cottage, where he once lived with Annie, who loved him dearly. Memories of the first 7 years they spent so happily came up crowding on his mind. But there was neither light, nor murmur, no sign of life. Stunned and chilled, he turned away and crept slowly to the wharf, repeating to himself that they were dead or dead to him. Enoch went down to the wharf, seeking a tavern that once he knew of. He thought it must have gone, but he found it still standing there. The landlord was long dead, and his widow Miriam Lane held the house. There Enoch ordered a bed and rested that night and for many days following. This widow was a good and talkative person, and did not let Enoch rest silent for long. She often came into his room and told him of the story of his house, not knowing the guest was Enoch himself, as he was so brown, so bowed, and so broken. Enoch knew for the first time the death of his baby and his growing poverty, Philip's generous help, the education of the children, his long wooing, her slow consent to their final marriage, and the birth of Philip's child. And when she finished, saying, Enoch, poor man, was cast away and lost, he repeated muttering, cast away and lost, shaking his gray head. When the landlady was gone, Enoch felt a strong desire to see Annie again. The thought haunted and harassed him and drove him first, one dark November evening, to the top of the hill where Philip's mill stood. There he sat down and gazed on her that were below his eyes. Then a thousand memories rolled upon him and made him unspeakable for sadness. Peeping from there, he saw what he might better have avoided seeing. A warm fire was blazing on the genial hearth. On the right hand of the hearth sat Philip, stout rosy, with his baby across his knees. Over Philip stood a girl, tall, fair-haired, who looked much like Annie Lee, though younger and taller. Annie turned now and then to speak with her son, who was standing beside her. He was now a tall, strong boy, and was smiling to his mother while he was speaking. When Enoch, the dead man, come to life, saw his life, who was no more his, and her baby, who also was not his together, with his own children tall and beautiful, and Philip all in warmth, peace, and happiness. The shock was so great that he staggered him, Though Miriam Lane had told him all about this, things seemed more stronger than things heard. He clung to a branch of the yew for support and feared lest he should send out a shrill and terrible cry, which in one moment would shatter all the happiness of the hearth. It is too hard to bear. O God Almighty, aid me. Give me strength not to tell her, never to let her know. Help me not to break upon her peace. And he did not tell her. His resolution and firm faith upbore him, and he was not all unhappy. When a year had passed since his return, a gentle sickness came upon him, and gradually deprived him of his spirit and power, till he could work no more. In these last days, Enoch had the hope, thinking that after he was gone, she might learn that he had loved her to the last. 3 days before he died, he called Miriam to his bedside and said, I have a secret to confide to you. But before I tell it, please swear upon the Bible that you will not reveal it till you see me dead. Dead? The woman cried. Then, rolling his gray eyes upon her, Enoch asked if she knew Enoch Arden of the town. I remember him coming down the street, holding his head high, caring for no one. Slowly and sadly Enoch answered, his head is low now, and no man cares for him. I think I have not 3 days more to live. Therefore I tell you, I am the man. I am Enoch. You Arden, you? Then he told her of his voice, his wreck, his lonely tropical island, his coming back and gazing in on Annie through the window, his secret resolution, and how he kept it. While the woman was listening to his story, tears slowed down her cheeks. When you see her, tell her that I died blessing, loving, and praying for her as when she laid her head beside my own. Tell my dear daughter and son that their father blessed them and prayed for them. Say also to Philip that I blessed him too, that I knew well he never meant us anything but good. Then he took out a lock of a baby's hair, which he had long cherished, and handing it to Miriam, said, This is the hair which she cut off from the baby when I set out on my voyage. Keep this hair and give it to her. It may comfort her a little. Moreover, it will be a token that I'm really the man. So the strong heroic soul passed away. The whole town soon learned it, and was deeply moved by the story of the return and death of Enoch Arden.